no one speaks. There's no laughing, no crying, no humming, no moaning. Singing occurs 3 times a week when they go to church, but not that one, because there is a separate chapel within that prison. But even when they're at worship, these men can stand almost shoulder to shoulder, but they can't see or touch either one because they are divided. They're locked in a cell for 23 hours of every day. The 1 hour they're let out, they go into a high-walled yard to exercise, to walk. But if they break the rules, there's further punishment. The good news is that these men, they are not flogged because that's been done away with. They believe that the harsh physical punishments, they're doing nothing but brutalising, making these men harder, more difficult to control. But the Quakers in America, they believe that if you could put these men in a space of reflection, of contemplation, of constant meditation upon their wrongdoings, that perhaps they would be able to reform themselves. And so that's what they did. But if they broke the rules, their punishment was that they were put into a dark cell. There's no window, there's no light. It is the blackest place I have ever been. 4 thick wooden doors led into it, and if they're all closed, that cell is soundproof. You can't hear or see. Now, we do have a light in our operational cell because for safety reasons, but if you were to go in there, you can put your hand over the light and experience that space as the convicts did. And I often wonder how we would cope locked in that space. I'm claustrophobic, so I wouldn't last long. After about 5 minutes, I start to panic. So I would be sent completely and utterly insane because they're allowed to keep convicts in there for up to 30 days, a month of darkness and silence. Is it any wonder that they had to build right next door to the separate prison, the lunatic asylum? Now, today we tend not to call people with mental health issues lunatics. Diagnosed these days with post-traumatic stress, with schizophrenia, with bipolar disorder or manic depression. We have men with anxiety issues, men with acquired brain injuries, and of course we have an ageing population, so they're starting to get diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia and senility. Back then they were lunatics and they were locked up. But that's the last convict-built structure here at Port Arthur, because by the time they build it, Port Arthur is more of a welfare station, not just a punishment station. In fact, there's very few able-bodied convicts by that time. They're mostly lunatics and paupers. These are the broken men, physically and financially and socially unable to take care of themselves. They can be returned back here to Port Arthur, even as ex-convicts, to be a part of this machine once more, until eventually it grinds to a halt in 1877. These men are sent back to Hobart. They are sent into the asylums and into the prisons of Hobart town. But that's not the end of history here. It's just the beginning of a new era, because the government, they sell it off. We have free people move in here. This is a town after all. The houses are privately owned. Unfortunately, many are destroyed in the bushfires of 1895 and 1897, and we have new structures built. We have a little church alongside our ruin, Trentham Cottage here. This is like walking through my great-grandparents' house, almost exactly the same. And we have a policeman's house up here. There was a policeman living in that until 1973. So for almost 100 years, this was a town, this was a village. And then the government started to buy it back again. They've recognised the value of its heritage. And we're now recognised as World Heritage listed. And our history, it continues. I see history occurring every day I come here. At the moment, it's our brand new visitor centre that'll be opening tomorrow, apparently. Every day I'm here, my family history is continuing. But you're part of our history too. We make you a part of this place. We give you those convict identities so that you can feel a part of it. And you need to go up to the separate prison. Across the road there is a bright white building. We can't see it from here, but you won't be able to miss it because it's bright white. That's where you need to find your cards. But we don't just give you a card. Like the convicts, we give you a number. So you're all a statistic of Port Arthur forever. But you're more important than just numbers to us. You're paid. And that's no little thing here. Because all the money we raise here, whether it's through your ticket sales, if you go to the gift shop, if you go to the cafe, if you go to the restaurant, do additional tours like the Isle of the Dead or ghost tours, all of that money, it stays here, apart from the bit I get, cheers. But your money, it goes into the maintenance and the preservation so we can enjoy this place. But more importantly, it goes into the conservation of Port Arthur. Like the $7 million that stabilised that ruin. Now that is guaranteed to stand for 100 years' time. Now that proves to me that we're not conserving Port Arthur for me, or you, or your kids. We conserve Port Arthur so that their great-great-grandchildren can visit in 100 years' time and enjoy it as we do. And it doesn't matter how many times I say that, it gives me goosebumps. So I hope it gives you a warm feeling knowing how important your visit is. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for listening. Cheers. Now if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, because I'm now going to give you something that the convicts truly long for. Freedom. Run. Enjoy your afternoon. Welcome.